Hey guys, I'm Captain Foley,
And I am Connors.
and today here we have something very special for you guys.
Well, this is the Lower Deck season. I think it's fair to say this is the most special sort of video. And I'm really excited. I've already seen the video and I'm still excited.
And today we're going to be talking to Mr. Mike McMahan, the creator of Lower Decks. We jumped through some hoops and got a chance to talk to him, so we are here to share that with you guys because we asked a lot of the pressing questions.
Trekyards pressing questions. And this is a part one interview, several parts. Look forward to that, guys. Just, yep, let's let our younger selves jump in.
Hey guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Cockings, and joining us, guest.
Mike McMahan, creator and showrunner of Star Trek Lower Decks.
Awesome to have you with us. And we focus specifically on ships and tech. And there's a lot of questions that people have about the Cerritos.
Well, it's fair to say straight out of the gate, though, that you guys put so much care and attention to the tech and the look of things that, unlike you might assume an animated show might be like, oh, it's just a cartoon style. Oh no, we feel confident asking these questions because you really put the effort in. So
I'm very excited to talk to you guys about all this. I know that you know more than me. I mean, I know a ton, and I know kind of like what's important to me about this era of Starfleet ship, and what I like and what I don't like. I will say that anything I mess up, totally my fault. I have an army of designers and Trek fans and people who have poured over blueprints, and you know, the show is not just made by me, obviously. Like, I'm kind of at the helm, but it takes a veritable army of people to keep me honest while we're doing it. And we're even working with the Akutas right now on a schematic, on an official kind of blueprint. So, you know, we like deep dives. It's important
Absolutely.
to us that you know, why make a Star Trek show unless you're going to get to do this stuff, unless you're going to get to talk about, you know, warp bubbles and the efficacy of the turbo lifts, when you're going to warp and you know, where to put different stuff on different ships. And so, yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Well, we are the deep dive guys. And I guess the first question comes from the name of the ship, the Cerritos. Where did that come from? How did that all come about?
You know, originally we knew that we wanted to create a California class of ships for the show because we wanted to visit a lot of ships, but not step on any toes. And Starfleet is huge, you know, just like actual naval fleets. There are so many ships and so many different ships that have very specific purposes. And, you know, it felt organic and natural for a show that can add, you know, the Defiant late in Deep Space Nine, that you would believe that there are different sizes of ships and different types of crews. And so because we wanted the show to exist on the fringes of Starfleet itself, like the show is about a Lower Decks, but then the ship that the show takes place on is kind of a lower deck ship. It's kind of a lower echelon ship. We decided to build a whole new class so that we could have fun and muck around and write these stories and experience these new ships. Because, by the way, it's just awesome to see a new ship too, you know.
Yes, it is.
But then on top of that, like, if you watch Lower Decks and you're like, that doesn't feel like my type of Star Trek, then it's like, well, guess what? We're doing it with California class. We're not trotting all over your other classes of ships. We're not saying a Galaxy class ship does that, you know. So it kind of creates a little safety net of an audience being like, okay, let's see what this ship can do. Let's see what these kind of crews can do.
You obviously wanted to design a ship that had 93% ops, and you had to design a new ship for that. There was no ship that had
a lot
that.
of ops. There's a lot of ops. And the name Cerritos, so we knew that we wanted to have the California class and that we're going to be seeing a bunch of them. So we wanted a naming scheme that fit into a pattern. And when I moved to Los Angeles, I grew up in Chicago, so I don't know a ton about California. I've been learning as I've been living here. And when I first lived here, I did a lot of jobs where I had to drive around town and pick up scripts and pick up coffee for people and deliver stuff. And there was a radio ad that would play all the time for a car dealership in the Cerritos Auto Square. And it's kind of a local famous radio ad. And I just thought it would be cool to be like, okay, Cerritos is like a little town on the outskirts, you know, it's in Southern California, on the outskirts of LA. I guess things don't have to be, you know, identified in their positioning to LA, but it is just to me because I live here. And yeah. I was like, you know, it would be cool to give like a less noble name to a starship and then and then expand it from there. So the names of the other California class ships are other cities in California, like the Sacramento and the Solvang. You'll see them pop up across the season. And then all of the shuttles on the ships are named after California state parks. So like you see the Yosemite in the pilot. There's a shuttle that's even that's in a very bad state of disrepair that's in the lower decks sort of workshop that they've been working on that you can see is the Sequoia for the Sequoia National Park. And yeah, we have our fun.
I kind of just congratulate you seriously though, Mike. A serious achievement in the show. There's so much love and passion that just emanates from it. But beyond that, the characters are good, the stories are interesting. You've achieved both filmmaking and Star Trek, and while they may not all hit, that's the nature of episodic. You can just tell the passion and love, and massive congratulations, because you've really hit something with it.
Thank you. And it's a dream to get to make a Star Trek show from every element, like the stuff you guys are into, and then yes, the characters, the types of stories, the moral stories, what it's like to be on a ship like this, what's it like to be in a Star Trek show and telling stories about characters that aren't dealing with the main bridge stuff, but then sometimes kind of getting into that a little bit so that you know what's going on, so the audience knows what's going on. Getting to tell stories about Tawny Newsome brings so much to the character of Beckett Mariner, and Jack Quaid as Boimler is so fun. And if you don't love Tendi, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like Noelle Wells brings such emotion to that character. She's so Starfleet and so great. And it's just a blast working on it. And I got to say, like, if you guys are digging it, like you can tell as you're watching it, like it was really hard. It's such a balance to make this show. It's such a tightrope walk. Usually when you're making a comedy, anything can happen, and people say that about animation all the time. Anything can happen. But in a Star Trek show, anything can't happen. It has to feel like Star Trek all the time. And that's a limitation that makes the show special. Like
it's a victory when you get it right. That's satisfaction we did it. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that as you guys see this week with episode 4 and then going on, it just keeps getting better and better. Like we start knowing what works, you're always kicking the tires and figuring out a show when you start. I actually, like, for an audience, they get to kind of lean back and watch the first couple episodes and be like, well, this works and this didn't and this didn't. And it's like, it's just so funny because it's like the miracle that this show exists, like to get it through a development process and have it be kind of the first of its kind of this tone for this property. And like, because everybody at CBS is extremely careful about Star Trek. Like they don't mess around. They know that it's something that you have to be, that it's like hallowed, that you have to be really careful with it. And doing a show like this that could pull in new audiences and is a love letter to Trek, but might not speak to some fans, is like, you have to be supremely careful with everything. And then as the season is going, like, so the pilot is careful. Like it's a really careful pilot.
With zombies. With zombies and cannibalism. Yeah, very careful. Very
well,
careful.
Zombies and cannibalism, but it's interesting because like, what's the most basic threat to a ship? When you're showing something to executives who are reading it, and you need to tell 5 different stories, meet a crew, meet a ship, and you need something that everybody knows. It's like, okay, they get bitten and they turn into a problem. And it's like, okay, could somebody getting stung, could that get through the biofilters on the transporters, right? It's like, well, yeah, it's happened before. It happens all the time. Like, we didn't invent that. Like there's something about that, on a second.
It's an alien bug. It's alien.
It's an alien bug. It's not, that hasn't registered it won't happen again because now the transporters have all been updated. But the idea of like, we just need a regular zombie plot, the plot in the pilot, the sci-fi isn't supposed to break your brain. Like it's just supposed to be there to get in the way of Rutherford's date. Like it's like Rutherford being on a date and Mariner and Boimler disagreeing about stuff is the story you're supposed to be paying attention to. And the thing that's inconveniencing them is a giant zombie outbreak on the ship. However, I do think that as the executives kind of got used to the idea of how the show is orchestrated, and then as the season went on, I think you guys are really gonna like it. You're gonna geek out.
Perfect place to leave it. As a fan and on behalf of the fans, I'd like to say thank you for creating this show. And also thank you for joining us here on Trekyards today to talk about it. We really appreciate your time. So
hey, thank you. And thank you guys for geeking out hard on all this stuff. That's what makes it worthwhile. Like, you know, all of this is great. And thank you for having me on. I'm glad that you guys are liking the Cerritos. We're gonna keep dialing it in and make sure that it's a ship that you're excited to dig into.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Nice
Cool.
to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.